Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
I kind of go back and forth with where all of this should land on the PGA Tour. I think individual 72 holes is what I really like for professional golf, for big time events.
Like, we're gonna make this all about teams. We're gonna have home games, and you know, that's gonna be the focus of this competition. I don't think that works if you have guys that are still trying to play at the highest level on an individual front.
Only on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access. Only on SportsGrid.
They have a former executive that they claim was stealing proprietary information from them and passing it along. Initially, it looks like DraftKings is on the right side of this.
They're really heated about what they said, that he left the company right before the Super Bowl, allegedly took all this confidential information with him about the most important customers, the bettors that spend the most with the company.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Ferrall has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Yeah, what a shame, Carver High, that I missed the Tom Brady roast. I don't know how I'll ever live with myself.
Well,
I'm too busy watching Game 7s and big sporting events. I'm sorry I missed that funny night with Tom and all of his friends. Wow, how will I ever get through the week?
Well, two things. Number one, of course, I wasn't turning off Vegas-Dallas Game 7 to go and jump over to that last night. There was just no chance I was doing that. And nobody really needed to anyway, Scotty, because when you opened up any social media that you have on your phone, you were flooded with every single clip that ever possibly happened from it. So I didn't watch it, but I feel like I did just from seeing the clips that they all got put up. I saw the funniest stuff. I don't need to go back and watch it. So there you go, Scotty. I was in on
I believe that SportsGrid is 3 times better than Tom Brady at putting out social media. Rebecca Harrelson dominates social media on a level unequaled by her peers, and she humiliates Tom Brady and his silly little roast with the SportsGrid reach on social media being the king of the castle.
I know anyway that you're more excited for Game 1 at the Garden tonight, the world's most famous arena. Really good rivalry back in the 90s. The Knicks and the Pacers. They've played a lot in the playoffs over the last 30 years, and they get back together here. 2 completely different teams, of course. Why don't we start, Scotty, with Tom Thibodeau? Now, clearly the Knicks have had a very short bench in the Philly series. There was really only 6-7 guys who were playing. Let's see if Tibbs is willing to maybe give up some information. Does he think his guys are rested enough? Does he plan on maybe going a little deeper into the bench? Does he want to talk about anything? Let's find out.
How would you describe how your guys have embraced the workload?
They could always do better.
You expand the rotation?
We could.
Does how fast they play factor into that?
Well, you got to look at who they're playing as well. So they've cut back. So it's all about matchups.
Yeah, not giving up much.
No,
he's not giving up much. You got a little. You basically got like 30 minutes of a happy Tom Thibodeau when the series was over with Philadelphia, right, Scotty? you weren't getting any more of him being big smiles and joking around. He's down to business and down to trying to figure out how he's going to beat the Pacers this week. That's all that matters to him.
Yeah, I think they have their hands full. This is I'm not afraid, as I told you, as a lot of people are, of McConnell and Obi Toppin and their bench. I am not as enamored with that as I am their starting five. I think that Nebhard and Naismith get no love at all, but they can both kill you. They can both shoot. They can both put it in the hole. They can both play. And I think Turner's a great shooter and shot blocker. I think Siakam is an attacker. He goes to the 10. He's not afraid of anything in the paint, contact, fouls, hammers, any of the above. He's going to be a real problem. And obviously, Halliburton is a real issue. But this is, to me, about physicality and defense and rebounding. And if you dominate in those areas and categories, I think you're going to be very difficult to beat. I think Indiana has beaten the Knicks twice this year. They're very capable of beating the Knicks. There's no getting around that. Now we're playing for keeps, though. These aren't, regular season, meaningless, hey, let me give you a hug after the game, you're my buddy type games. This is war. This is for money. This is playoffs. This is to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. There's a lot at stake here. There's no room for friendliness.
There is no room for friendliness at all. Here is Tyrese Halliburton, who you were just talking about, his thoughts on facing the Knicks here in the first round.
I'm just excited to be a part of it. I think that me being with the Pacers and being a part of the long-term future here, it was only inevitable before we played these guys. You know what I mean? It's kind of part of it. And, it's funny where today's day and age is, like, those are some good friends of mine over there, but it's a lot of competition. I think it's going to be a lot of smoke in there. There's obviously they got their former guys coming to a ton of games. I'm sure we'll have a lot of our former guys coming to games too. So it's no secret that that's a rivalry. And so for me to be a part of it, I think it's a lot of fun. And I think it's just going to be fun to add another part to that chapter.
That's all, jelly to me. I just know that the Knicks, I just think they're better than the Pacers. And we'll see if they can go and get it done tonight and in Indy. I think the key to this for me is how will they do at the Fieldhouse in Indianapolis? Are they going to go there? And, I thought they screwed around a lot with Philadelphia because Philadelphia punched them right back in the mouth. It was very physical. I thought the series really came down to the free throw line. I thought, between Embiid and Brunson, I've never seen more free throws shot in my life in a playoff series. And, this can't be a free throw series. This has to be, in my view, rebounding, transition, Brunson attacking, Anunoby, Hartenstein attacking, Hart attacking and ripping and running, and McBride letting it fly, DiVincenzo letting it fly, playing brutally physical defense at the perimeter, I think is the key to beating the Pacers. I do not believe that Halliburton, I think he's a really good player that can shoot. I do not believe he's a tough player that's going to be able to take a lot of physicality out at the perimeter. I think he's going to complain a lot and cry a lot because they're going to bang him and they're going to give him the business. And that's how the Knicks roll. That's who they are. So get ready.
I don't know if the Pacers have a lot of those guys, right? I mean, I'm not calling them a soft team by any means, Scotty, but do they have a lot of physical guys who want to go in there and bang? That's not really there. That's not. But even think of their bigger guys like Turner and other. Those guys aren't known for physicality.
Turner plays outside on that end of the floor. He's an outside shooter. He's not a low block player. It's Siakam is. Siakam is the guy that attacks from the wing and down in the low post. I think that you're right. It's that simple. You're right. They're not a physical team, but they are a motion, ball movement, shot selection quality team. I think they move the ball very effectively to one another for open looks, and they can flat out shoot. I think the Knicks will have a problem if they let them just take clean looks all night, every night in this series. They have to be up in it. You just cannot let shooters that are good have uncontested looks. It's a problem. And you can't foul a lot. You got to get up in them, but don't foul them. Swing. I do it all the time. I swing at the shot. A guy will either make it or he won't. If you swing at it, at least you're trying to knock him off his rhythm or his, release, whatever. If you get up and get in there and swing and try to block it without hitting him is, I think, very important. Not to just let a guy. How many times did you see Banchero with the ball out at the perimeter and nobody got up on him and the guy was just shooting freely like he was free throws? You can't let that happen against this Pacer team or they will beat you.
They certainly will. -5.5 for the Knicks here in game number 1 tonight. 217.5 is the total. I think the Knicks win game 1, Scotty. That number's tricky for me. It is. I think this series is going to be close.
Yeah, I don't like the over either. I think everyone thinks it's going to be this and that. I think it's going to be, this first game I think is going to be a feel-out war of attrition and defense. That's a big number. I think, God, I'm scared to death. I like the Knicks and the under and laying the 5.5, but it's very dangerous. I think the Pacers will be in the game for certain.
Very dangerous. I'll give you the most bet player props when we come back, and then I'm going to rifle through some other basketball things for you, including the clip of Riley giving Jimmy Butler the business earlier today down in Miami, which is great.
Wild.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
You're not going to get the Tiger Woods size audience because you know where they went? They went to Caitlin Clark. That's where those people went. What? Those people are now going to the WNBA. Yeah, the fan that only watches what's hot, the fan, the casual who doesn't really like sports but likes to be involved in the in thing. They're watching
cooler discussion.
They're watching Caitlin Clark.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
A lot of books, and outside of the New York area, the Canes are actually favored in game 1 of this series. I'm seeing it right now. I'm looking. I see a -115 Canes, Rangers -105.
I like the 6 and 7 games prop, like I took with Boston, Toronto, which we now know is going to cash. I think it's got a chance to go the distance. It's going to be a long, tough, close series.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
As you know, Carver High is too busy being the manager of a girls softball team to have the time. So I have nominated Coffee Kofsky as the new president of our union that we're forming at SportsGrid to combat labor and management relations that seem to be teetering on the brink of turmoil. So I am nominating Coffee Kofsky as the union president.
Yeah, I'm definitely not involved in that. I got enough problems with the softball team. I don't need to be involved in anything that you got cooking with that. I got duck problems.
Some of the girls were caught with chaw in their jaw during a game Saturday. There's been an investigation into Red Man chewing tobacco, lawsuits.
I don't want to be under any investigation. All right,
Ray Lewis spitting tobacco on some girl's white cleats started the whole thing. The mother turned in a lawsuit.
Yeah, I can't have any of it. The most bet player props for the Knicks and the Pacers tonight. Mitchell Robinson under 4.5 points. Brunson under 8.5 assists. Brunson over 34.5 points. OG under 6.5 boards. And Deuce McBride under 1.5 threes. You got to be kidding me. Your boy Deuce is always good for at least 2 triples, Scotty. You got to be kidding me with that under.
I'm on Deuce over, Anunoby over, Brunson over on the points. And I don't want anything to do with 1 or 2. There's a lot of props that I would get into here. I think Turner threes would be an over. I'd be willing to roll with that. I'd be willing to roll Siakam over points. He's always had big games at Madison Square Garden. So if you want to go Siakam over points or Siakam points and rebounds, I'm willing to go over there as well. And I'd be willing to take a shot at Halliburton over points. And I hit so many bets. I don't want to get ahead of you people because I hit so many bets. I just want to slow down here a little bit. I'm under a lot of stress, with coffee taking over and everything. I got a lot of mail I got to go through.
I might continue to chase after that Josh Hart triple-double at 16-1 tonight. I might throw a little happy meal bet on that. I might keep chasing it till it hits.
That dirty dog.
And we'll go after that
dirty dog.
for him. So there you go, game 1 tonight. The only other series we haven't mentioned also doesn't start until tomorrow night, and that's Dallas and Oklahoma City. So the Thunder have just basically over a week off by the time they start this series. They're minus 120 for the series, even money for the Mavs, who, of course, finished off the Clippers on Friday night in that Game 6 at home. This also, Scotty, I think could be a really fun series.
I do too, and I do believe that the Thunder are better than the Mavericks, hands down. I think they're, look, I think one team, this is a lot like the Knicks and Pacers. One team is physical and tough, and that would be Dallas. I think with Washington and Gabbert, and I think Luka and Kyrie, these are tough players. Kyrie Irving gets what he wants for dinner. He goes and gets what he wants. The night he had 14, I told you on this show, I said, he's going to have 30 tonight, and he had 30 that night. So he gets whatever he wants for dinner. They're a physical team. I think Oak City's a running, gunning, transition, shooting, quick ball movement, attacking team from the outside and inside. I think they're flat out better than the Mavericks. I do think they'll win, and I think they'll run them out of the building. I just think they're better. And I think everyone's already crowned Minnesota or Denver to win the NBA championship, except the sportsbooks have the Celtics winning it. The West is going to win it, just so we're clear. And one of those teams, I think Oak City makes it to the Western Conference Final, like I said they would, for months. They're still, hands down, better than the Mavericks. The Mavericks are in this because of Luka and Kyrie. That's why they're in this. But they played a team that loses every single year in the playoffs, which was easy pickings to me. The Clippers are always losers. So are the Philadelphia 76ers. You can say whatever you want about Embiid and all this other nonsense. They always lose, just like the Clippers. Dallas got an easy trip, and now they're going to run into a problem.
They are going to run into a problem, and they're going to be down one of their secondary players, Maxi Kleber, full dislocation of his AC joint in that Game 6 on Friday night. He is done for a significant period of time.
And he's a good shooter.
Won't see him. And he's a good shooter. He hit a bunch of threes in that series against the Clippers, so they'll be without him. Jason Kidd gets an extension from the Mavs. That's because the Lakers were knocking on his door, so Dallas gave Jason Kidd an extension and a whole bunch of money.
Same thing with Lou. They're going to give him a fat deal to not leave.
Right.
And then now I'm hearing about, like, the one that I heard today, this Lee guy that they're talking about. this assistant, the Lakers are going to hire him. Is that not just going down the same dirty road as Darvin Ham?
Yeah.
Are we going to go down the dirt road again with a crappy assistant coach who's not going to be a great coach in Los Angeles? Do you understand the pressure and the level of coach you need? Let me explain something to you. They've had 2 winners, Riley and Jackson. That's it. Okay? You're either Riley or Jackson or at that level, or they're going to make another mistake. It's obvious to me that Rob Pelinka continues to make mistakes with his hires, and either he listens too much to Jeannie Buss or vice versa. These two making decisions, they just keep making bad decisions. Darvin Ham is not a good coach, and people saying, oh, he's going to get a job immediately. No, he isn't. He's not a good coach. Secondly, this guy Lee they're talking about now, I don't even know his name. He's so awful. I don't want to hear it. You either get a big name coach or you're going to do it again in 2 years. The Lakers go through coaches like you go through turkey in your refrigerator for sandwiches every week, putting a kid's lunchbox together. Okay, so the Lakers front office is a disaster. No one ever wants to admit it because LeBron James runs the franchise. So why don't they just let him pick the new GM, the new coach? They should get rid of Pelinka and bring in a new GM and a new coach because Pelinka's doing a terrible job. And they give him all this credit for the bubble championship. Are you kidding me? They won that because LeBron James and Anthony Davis and everyone wasn't allowed to breathe on anyone and there was no one at the games.
That would be Celtics lead assistant Charles Lee.
Charles Lee. What's next? Is he my eye doctor? Charles Lee. Who is that? Right.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think, that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
You're not going to get the Tiger Woods size audience. Because do you know where they went? They went to Caitlin Clark. That's where those people went. What? Those people are now going to the WNBA. Yeah. The fan that only watches what's hot, the fan, the casual who doesn't really like sports but likes to be involved in the in thing, they're watching
cooler discussion.
They're watching Caitlin Clark.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
A lot of books, and outside of the New York area, the Canes are actually favored in Game 1 of this series. I'm seeing it right now. I'm looking. I see a -115 Canes, Rangers -105.
I like the 6 and 7 games prop, like I took with Boston, Toronto, which we now know is going to cash. I think it's got a chance to go the distance. It's going to be a long, tough, close series.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
Carver High, a veritable legend when it comes to betting over unders. He just hit a bet right now in the break on the distance in time from Minneapolis to Denver in an airplane, and it was at 2:30. Carver High bet the under at plus 185 and cashed the ticket in less than a minute and 10 seconds. It's a 2 hour and 10 minute flight. Thus, he hit the under again. the king of props, Carver High.
And it's probably even less when you consider he's flying private. Yeah, he ain't going to he ain't going to catch gate, G37 to catch the United over there. Like he's got some cushy private flight that he's going to jump in, and they're going to take him straight down to Denver. I'd actually be surprised if he's not at that game tonight. I would be kind of surprised if Gobert doesn't get back in Denver in time for tip-off.
I hate all airports except the Indianapolis airport, which is 10 minutes from downtown and easy access from the Pacers clubhouse lounge where you can eat breakfast and get drunk. And then secondly, the worst airport in the world, although I love it, Pearson in Toronto, worst airport in the world, though they have a Wahlburgers burger joint in there, which is just sexual. Like I went in there once and with my daughter and I had one and a fry and the chick goes, "Would you like the bill?" I go, "No, I'd like another."
Then you have the best and the worst airport in the world. The best airport in the world when you get there is Vegas. The worst airport in the world when you leave it is Vegas. It's the best and the worst airport all at the same time. Jimmy Butler, he is, I guess, enjoying himself, Scotty. A video surfaced of him over the weekend celebrating the Heat season being over, where he was telling people at the party that the Heat would have beat the Celtics, they would have beat the Knicks, they would have beat everybody if he was playing. The problem is that he wasn't playing. This morning, Pat Riley was doing his end-of-the-season press conference for the Heat. That was brought up that Jimmy Butler was saying that this would have happened if he would have played. Pat didn't really like that.
For him to say that, I thought, is that Jimmy trolling or is that Jimmy serious? If you're not on the court playing against Boston or on the court playing against the New York Knicks, you should keep your mouth shut. And your criticism of those games.
I mean, honestly, boom, mic drop. And he wasn't done there. He said that that heroes.
He said the
fragile.
kid tries hard. He said he practices harder than anyone, but for some reason he's very fragile and he doesn't play games. And Pat clearly has a problem, Scotty, with all of his players not playing ever. They don't play in any of the games, and that seems to be an issue with Pat Riley. He also said that he's not going to look to trade Jimmy Butler this offseason. Now, Jimmy can ask for an extension on July 1st or whatever it is. Pat really didn't sound like he was very interested in that because Jimmy doesn't play. That's kind of what it sounded like to me personally. I know this, Scotty. You know what Pat's like? Okay, time out.
Go ahead. Do it, and then I'll say.
Pat's he's like Jerry Jones now. He's old enough where he's gonna say whatever the hell he wants. He don't really care what anyone's opinion is. That's why he can do stuff like he just did right there to Jimmy.
I agree, and I think he's got more power, in my opinion, than anyone in the NBA. I think he's the most powerful executive in the NBA. He's got, in my view, way more juice than Adam Silver. People are afraid of Pat Riley. He's got so much power. All right, so I said this on Betting Above the Rim, and I'm going to say it again here. I am not giving a bag of money to a guy that never plays. I am not interested in giving money to players that never play. I'm going to give you a bunch of money, a ton of money, guaranteed money to never play. How stupid are you? What I said yesterday on Betting Above the Rim is simple. I want the Thunder. I want all young, draftable, payable players that I have to pay nice money to when they come into the league and they're young, and I got to pay them a nice deal. Welcome to the NBA. You're a pro. You're rich now. But I'm not paying these super max. Oh, God. Here, let's give LeBron James some more super max money. Let's give him Jimmy Butler just bags of money. The guy never plays. I'm done with it. I want young guys that I draft, that I pay, that play. I want the Thunder. I don't want any other team. I don't want the Suns. They owe more money to Bradley Beal than people owe the IRS. Honestly, one guy, they owe like $170 million guaranteed to him, and they can't even trade him. I don't want any player that's old and never plays, always injured, that wants a ton of money. You know what? There's the door, Romeo.
Tory Taylor, who they actually needed some help in terms of their punting unit. He is going to be great.
But I do firmly believe if Odunze's not on the board, that they probably trade back and gain assets and look to fortify their team across the board. But the fact that we got a bozo pick in number 8 here from the Atlanta Falcons, that's the reason why I believe also they picked out the Bears as the winner.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Does Dame get frustrated? Miserable year in Milwaukee. Does he ask out? Does Giannis ask out? Well, you ain't got no one else to trade. Middleton makes a ton of money, old. Bobby Portis makes a ton of money, old. Brook Lopez makes a ton of money, old. Pat Connaughton's going to give you nothing in trade value. So to me, watch Milwaukee. Folks, this could be the end of the Bucks dynasty.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Ferrall coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live, prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
sort
Night.
of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The brighter the lights, the bigger the stakes. Hunt or be hunted. Know your prey. This is a whole new jungle. This is The Lion's Share. Brought to you by BetMGM.
All right, check out the new betting market for the NHL playoffs that you can only get with BetMGM. They have the empty net goal markets for entire slates as well as specific games. Find them in the app under the NHL tab, then the props tab. You can also find the specific game markets under each game along with the NHL props tab. I have been cleaning house on Stanley Cup playoff betting, including hitting the Bruins Saturday night and hitting the Stars last night. It just never ends. It's time for Coach James Young on the Lion's Share. He's here every day talking NBA playoffs and rack primarily, even though he is a communist Mets fan who crossed over. He crossed the line yesterday and went to Yankee Stadium, which is, to me, it's like one of the 10 commandments. He's already blown one of those. He's only got 9 left. What's next? You're going to kill somebody? I mean, you go to a Yankee Stadium as a Mets fan. See, I told you on Saturday, I don't go to that Queens Sissy City Field for anything. I won't even go watch my Pirates play there, so I don't get bed bugs.
Hey, listen, I probably broke the other 9 Ten Commandments already, so what's breaking another one, Ferrall? Good times at Yankee Stadium, but Ferrall, it's rack, and it's Knicks, and it's Pacers, and it's the 90s. Oh, Ferrall, I'm so excited about this game tonight.
I noticed that you didn't play the spread on the game. Your picks are otherwise worldly. Can we go through them? Why don't we start with your overall assessment here? Your play is a total.
Yeah, so I'm going to play over 217.5. Over 5 of the last 6 games that the Knicks and the Pacers have played. All 5 of those games, folks, got to 230 plus. Pacers, number 2 in the regular season in pace in the NBA. Both teams top 6 in offensive rating during the regular season and the playoffs. So to me, this is about pace. I'm going to go at Knicks Pacers over 217.5.
Yeah, I don't think the Knicks' plan tonight is to let them score like they do when they play them regularly. What do you think of that? They beat them twice, the Pacers, and they did whatever they wanted. Well, those days are over starting tonight at 7:30 at Madison Square Garden. There will be no doing whatever you want anymore.
Well, I think it's also because of the fact that I think the Knicks are going to be able to score. I'm not going to say at will, but I think they're going to be able to score a bunch of points. And if you're Indiana and you're Rick Carlisle, folks, you have to make this a transition game. A New York Knicks team that doesn't have Bogdanovich, a New York Knicks team that doesn't have Julius Randle, right? This is a Knicks team that Tibbs really has played only 7 guys pretty much in that first round series. I think you see a little bit more of a Precious Achua this round. Maybe even you dust off an Alec Burks, because to me, if I'm Rick Carlisle, I see that.
He's awful.
I know, but if I'm Rick Carlisle and you're playing 7, I'm gonna make this a track meet because I want to see what happens when Brunson, when DiVincenzo, and Hart are playing 43, 45, maybe even 48 minutes, folks, in a playoff game.
So do you have a problem with the Knicks slowing it down into a half-court game and being more physical and not letting them rip and run? Because I don't think they're getting rebounds against the Knicks.
Well, here's the thing. I think when you look about New York, they're going to play a certain style, right? And they're going to make this a little bit of a street fight. But folks, New York is opportunistic when it comes to transition, meaning if they get steals, if they get deflections, guys like McBride and OG are going to push the pace. So I do like that. But that being said, Fro, when you talk about that, one of the plays I like is Mitchell Robinson tonight. You talked about rebounding, right? Over 7.5 rebounds tonight for Mitchell Robinson. Folks, why? He's gone over 11 of his last 15 games. Last 4 games versus the Pacers, he's gotten over 7.5 rebounds. And here's the thing. Indiana is 26th in the NBA in the regular season in defensive rebounding percentage. Who's the number 1 team in offensive rebounding percentage, regular season and playoffs? That's the Knicks. They're getting 37% of their misses they're getting back. Well, who's the best offensive rebounder in the NBA? That's Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson over 7.5 rebounds tonight.
I love that. I think White Boy Rick's going to get a bunch of rebounds too and putbacks and dunks. I couldn't agree with you more. In fact, I think Mitchell Robinson will have that by the second quarter, midway through. Let's go to your Pacer bet. You're going to go with the little fella, McConnell, who I said to you on Saturday. I said the Knicks can't tolerate this little dude. They need to punch him right in the mouth. They're not going to let this little dude kill him.
But I'll tell you this much. 4 of the last 5 versus the Knicks, he's gone over 3.5 assists, 11 out of his last 15. And 58 out of 87 games this year, TJ McConnell's gone over 3.5 assists. So if I think the game is going to go over and Indiana's going to play quick, then someone off the bench has got to continue to play with that pace. TJ McConnell, he ain't going to get no 20 points like he did against the Bucks in Game 6, but I do think he gets 4+ assists.
I think he just had his 7th assist 5 minutes ago, and the game hasn't started for another 3 hours. That bet's automatic. He's going to come in and he's going to drop dimes. That's what he does. I'm not letting that guy score. I'm not having it. The way he had 20, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing that they listen, I told this guy today, I said, you come in here, you're going to get hurt. I played today with a little dude thinking he's going to come in and drive on me and do all. I said, listen, son, you're going to need to rethink your flight pattern here because you're not coming in here without getting hurt. You're going to get hurt. And then I smashed him with my belly. I told Carver High earlier, I smashed into him with my chest, and I said, I'm going to give you something you'll never forget. And then you intimidate him and keep him out of that block. Keep him out of the lane. All right, let's go to the Denver game. I am skeptical on why you're so high on, and I know you're going to start with Denver, but tell me then why you're high on McDaniels. I thought he was atrocious in Game 1, and ever since he had his 25-point game, I think he's been atrocious.
Well, let's put it to this. Let's start off with Denver. I'm going to take Denver minus the points for all. Why? This is must win. There's no way that Denver goes down 0-2 and wins this series. But think about this. I looked this up. Every home game that Denver's played this year, when they have lost, 6 out of the 7 times the next home game, if it's the next game is a home game,
right?
They covered the spread 6 out of those 7 games. That includes beating teams like Boston and the average and 5 of those 6 wins by double digits. I think they rebound tonight. They're not going to start off losing 18-4 like they do in game number 1.
Well, I said the same thing earlier. I said they got to, not only do they have to win, they got to win by double figures earlier in the show. So why McDaniels are you high on him?
Well, I think it can't be any worse than he was in game number 1. He's gone over
Why
this
not?
9.5 points plus assists.
Why not?
9 out of his last 15 games, 6 out of 9 versus Denver, 50 out of 77 all season. How many times has Jaden McDaniels missed the points plus assists prop in back-to-back games? 3 times all year. He gets back on the horse. Jaden McDaniels is better. 9.5 points plus assists.
Also offended at your use of Reggie Jackson. There's only one Reggie Jackson. This wannabe imitator playing basketball is offensive to me. He shouldn't be allowed to play in the NBA.
Wait a minute. Reggie Jackson over 6.5 PRAs. This is the low-hanging fruit of the night. Over 11 of his last 15 games. All 5 meetings this year versus Minnesota, he's gone over this. Listen, I've talked about this with Ferrall. The fact that no Jeff Green and no Bruce Brown this year, they need bench production from someone. I think Brown, it could be over in a moment. Watson, I saw him shoot a 3 and miss the basket by 8 feet. Reggie gets busy. Reggie Jackson over 6.5 points, rebounds, assists.
Just initial thoughts on tomorrow with Boston starting a series with Cleveland and Oak City starting with Dallas. Your initial thought really quick on tomorrow. I know we'll get into all of it, but your initial thought on those series.
Boston wins huge by 20+, and I think OKC wins game number 1. That series is going to go long. That could be 6 or 7.
It is going to be awesome. Enjoy the Knicks game tonight, Coach. I'll be stressed out.
The Lion's Share, presented by BetMGM.
Torrey Taylor, who they actually needed some help in terms of their punting unit. He is going to be great.
But I do firmly believe if Odunze's not on the board, that they probably trade back and gain assets and look to fortify their team across the board. But the fact that we got a bozo pick in number 8 here from the Atlanta Falcons, that's the reason why I believe also they picked out the Bears as the winner.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Giannis not available. So, what is that, a 6-year window? He's been injured in, he's been injured in 4 of the last 5 playoffs, Coach?
And he can't close games because he can't shoot. And he's not healthy. At some point, people need to look at Giannis and say, great player? Don't tell me all-time great.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time had 35 in the first half, Cam. And then, of course, he did not have another point the rest of the game.
Lillard's, it's playoff game time. This guy will show up. He will hit shots. Indiana, you better respond here because I'll tell you, that's a bad loss. We were wrong, Carver. Hey, I admit, I was on the Pelicans. This game, I lost.
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
All right, Davis Maddock is very popular. He's on a million shows, including Fantasy Sports Today. It's just Game Time Decisions, early line. He's everywhere. In-game live. He's on Coast to Coast every day, though. That's his favorite. It's every day. Every day with us. The other ones, he's here and there, and he's all over the place. He's very popular. And with us, it's every day because we know what's up. We know what's up. We get things done over here. You can follow him on X at Davis Mattek, Mattek. Also, Davis, just so you know, if you go on my X at Scott Ferrall, you can see me belly dancing with a naked belly dancer this weekend. I think you'd enjoy that quick clip like everyone else has. We ran a version of it on SportsGrid yesterday, and I've been dealing with legal ever since. Anyway, I want to start with your boy. How about Ohtani yesterday with the gargantuan home runs at Dodger Stadium? His first multi-home run day, and now he's up to 10, I believe. Am I wrong? The second home run just landed in Calabasas about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, nuclear detonation. Leads baseball in hits, leads baseball in doubles, leads baseball in homers, leads baseball in batting average, leads baseball in slugging. He's the best player in the world, man. He is the best player in the world. Dodgers paid all that money for him. You know, the man tried to get him down with the gambling scandal. We said, no, thank you. Not interested. Please send that back. Don't want Ohtani to not be hitting dingers in Major League Baseball. I mean, look, $700 million for Ohtani's contract is looking like a bargain. And I think the Dodgers, I wonder if they're discussing this internally right now. But clearly, this dude is locked in right now as a hitter. And this is one of the things I said to you in the offseason because he's not pitching this year. I wondered if it actually would be his best hitting season because he's not having to pitch, not having to think about it, not having to practice. I mean, he doesn't even throw bullpens, but not even having to keep his arm really in shape. Right. I wonder if they just keep him. I mean, do you wonder if I know he's just amazing. He's probably like the 9th best pitcher in baseball or whatever. But do you just tell him, forget about it? Like, we just want you as a hitter because you're that good as a hitter. You don't think so?
No, I think next year he will be the best pitcher in baseball, and he's going to be Don Drysdale for the Dodgers. That's who he's going to be. Secondly, I'm going to ask you a question. So the guy, let me get this right. He stole like $60 million from him. Do you believe that that's like him losing his wallet in a Popeyes parking lot? Like, he just lost his wallet and he doesn't know where it is. And he just goes home and says, screw it. I don't care. I'll get a new driver's license. Is $60 million really hurting a guy that's got as much money coming in as him?
I mean, I don't think he's rich enough for $60 million to be nothing, but it's definitely not like you or I losing $60 million. Like, it definitely hurts. It definitely stings. Although the way it always made it sound was like Ohtani kind of just does baseball and lets his people handle everything else. So I don't know. Maybe he just told someone like, hey, you got to take care of this. I don't know what I'm doing. And he told it to him through the interpreter. So the interpreter lied about it. I mean, it's like a Seinfeld skit, man. It's really insane.
I've seen Carver High actually slam a free bet blackjack table in Vegas after losing $60 on one hand and get up and leave the casino saying to me that the place was jinxed. $60 he got mad about, let alone $60 million. I was also very upset, Davis, yesterday to see Paul Skeens give up a home run.
What a bummer. What a bummer. He, he finally shows a little bit of just a little bit of mortality there in AAA. I mean, look, now maybe your Pittsburgh Pirates are going to say, well, we can't call him up. We can't call him up for another month. He gave up a home run in AAA. He's not ready. We got to keep him down there. Come on. What are we doing, Pirates? Get Paul Skeens in the major leagues. Enough already.
Well, the Giants and Phillies are going at it as we speak in the bank for Philadelphia. What do you think of the Phillies having the best record in baseball and they beat Logan Webb on Sunday Night Baseball and they just keep rolling?
I think that the Phillies are a really good Major League Baseball team. I am still undecided if they are the true class of the NL. I've gone back and forth on this. I do actually have a bet on them to win the National League pennant. I got that at 8-1 when it looked like the Braves and the Dodgers might be a little bit mortal. Not really feeling that the Dodgers are that mortal at the moment, though, Scotty. I don't really feel that way.
All right, let's look at some of your plays tonight, and we'll start with your NBA selection.
Yeah, I'm taking Nuggets. Look, I know everyone loves Anthony Edwards right now. He's the greatest. He's the best. He's Michael Jordan. I mean, yeah, I think he's a superstar. I think he's awesome. Jokic is the best player in the NBA. they've been limiting his minutes a little bit in the playoffs. He's actually playing less than 38 minutes per night. Get him up to 41, 42 minutes. I think that the spread is gonna narrow a little bit. Also, hearing a little birdie, Rudy Gobert doesn't show up to shoot around today. I believe his partner is expecting a child, so we might not see Rudy Gobert play tonight. So I think this is a pretty good spot to be on the Nugs.
Yeah, we're hearing that she had the baby this morning and that it's a 2-hour and 10-minute flight, and he's doing like allegedly private plane, the whole deal, and he's probably already there. It's a short flight from Minnie, 2:10 to Denver. And then when you're going first class like that, the limo right to the airport with a police escort, he should be ready to go. We'll see. If he doesn't show up, he's a wussy. I never miss games over the birth of children, as you know, on SportsGrid. That does not mean I don't like children. It means that I like betting way more than I like children. Let's be clear. You have the Dodgers tonight laying a 1.5. I'd be willing to lay 5.5 runs, and then maybe you can make some money on the bet.
Yeah, look, maybe we tease it out. Let's do the alt run line. Minus 5.5 runs for the Dodgers. We've got the return of Walker Buehler. We've got Scoop Mish's team, the Marlins. They've completely given up. And I'm going to go on the other side for my final play here tonight. We're taking the Oakland Athletics with my boy Alex Wood pitching against Andrew Heaney on the diamond tonight. Those are my two baseball plays.
Yeah, I like that. And, why not? I mean, the A's have been tearing it up, scoring all kinds of runs. I've been cashing tickets on the A's. Didn't they just beat up the Marlins and score a bunch of runs? I hit 2 tickets with them this weekend. Great stuff, Davis. Enjoy the games tonight.
DraftKings making a progressive move, I think that most other companies are also going to do or have done in the past. Adding someone from the government or someone you would say in legislation to become their responsible gaming leader here. And in this case, her name is Lori Kalani.
And it'll be interesting to see if other companies try to follow suit in terms of hiring former lobbyists to head responsible gaming.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
You're not going to get the Tiger Woods size audience. Because do you know where they went? They went to Caitlin Clark. That's where those people went. What? Those people are now going to the WNBA. Yeah. The fan that only watches what's hot, the fan, the casual who doesn't really like sports but likes to be involved in the in thing, they're watching
cooler discussion.
They're watching Caitlin Clark.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
A lot of books, and outside of the New York area, the Canes are actually favored in Game 1 of this series. I'm seeing it right now. I'm looking. I see a minus 115 Canes, Rangers minus 105.
I like the 6 and 7 games prop, like I took with Boston, Toronto, which we now know is going to cash. I think it's got a chance to go the distance. It's going to be a long, tough, close series.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Draisaitl could easily, at plus money, get the first goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. There's a few guys here. Maybe the prop betting market is not a bad way to look here.
Clippers over the Mavericks. If I would have told you that score before the game, knowing that Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing, I would have really figured it would have been the other way around. But the NBA is just crazy.
In-game live, all access, only on SportsGrid.
So, Carver, I just wanted to say that I hope that Ryan umpire that ran Aaron Judge on Saturday gets syphilis by the end of the week and suffers with it dramatically for the remainder of the summer as a lingering infection. in his body. I thought that was the weakest player ejection I've ever seen in my life. And then as penance, All Rise showed up on Sunday hitting long balls.
He certainly did. Judge did have a homer in the Yankees' 5-2 win over the Tigers on Sunday. That was very weak on Saturday, and we've been through this a lot. These umpires in baseball
are awful.
Their hooks have gotten quicker and quicker. I don't know what their problem is.
It's because they're so
real
awful.
Fast
They're so awful that they get abused.
Out of the games now. It's so bad, and that was the worst of it. But this game was actually tied late. They had some rain issues, of course, long delay with the Yankees and the Tigers, but tied at 2 in the 7th. Who's been doing it for the Yankees consistently all year, Scotty? Of course, it's been Juan Soto. It does it again on the Yes Network.
Juan Solo.
And he does. Rips it to right field. One man scores. Trevino scores. They're waving home Volpe. He scores. It's a bases clearing double for Juan Soto. And the Yankees lead 5-2.
Juan Solo. Did you see they had the Star Wars Day or whatever at the stadium, and they called him Juan Solo on the scoreboard? Very creative stuff. They're doing that crafty PR team over at the Bronx. Man, they got it all figured out with some of that early morning like radio bits.
Zany radio bits, some morning zany radio bits. Yeah, a lot of bright minds over there at the entertainment team over in the Bronx working on that. The Pirates beat the Rockies yesterday 5-3. What do we got here? Is this a cruise missile on Sportsnet Pittsburgh?
And that will also do the trick. Deep to right center field, and it's a cruise missile. Look out, Miller landing. William Cruz launches his 5th, and the Pirates take the lead.
I mean, they know how to party at PNC, baby. They really do. And they got great steaks right outside the ballpark. I mean, fantastic.
Right out there. Pirates take 2 out of 3 from the Rockies over the weekend.
Who doesn't?
They needed it. Who doesn't take at least 2 out of 3 from the Rockies? Nats beat the Jays 11-8. The Jays stink, by the way. They can't beat anybody right now. Toronto.
What a shame.
Cleveland beat the Angels 4-1. The Mets had a 6-5 lead in the 9th inning against the Rays yesterday, looking to pick up a game. Unfortunately for them, Edwin Diaz gives up a homer to Randy Arozarena in the 9th to tie it, and then Johnny DeLuca in the 10th on Bally Sports Florida sends him home happy.
And a liner into center field. That's going to be a base hit and skipped by Beatty. Caballero scores the tying run. Here comes Rortvedt, and the Rays win it. It's a 7-6 final.
Oh, God, they got the hockey horn going at the stadium.
Horn. They got the horn there.
Oh, no.
They got that horn for you.
Who is Johnny DeLuca, mobster?
Your boy Johnny D.
Who?
Taking care of business there. The Twins had a 12-game winning streak. The Red Sox broke that up yesterday, 9-2. They beat them. Cubs beat the Brewers 5-0. They took 2 out of 3 from them. Dodgers beat the Braves 5-1. I know you and Davis were just talking about it. 2 homers for Ohtani yesterday. The second one went a long way on Spectrum Sportsnet LA.
A.J. Minter out of the Braves bullpen. Comes home to Ohtani. Smashes a drive. Center field. Shohei Ohtani. We're gone! 464-foot home run. The 4th hit of the day for the otherworldly. One of a kind. Shohei Ohtani.
Fantastic audio we had there for you. I just wanted to say that Max Muncy hit 3 home runs on Saturday, and no one cared.
No one cared.
I mean,
you're absolutely
Ohtani
right
hits
about
them,
that.
and it's
Nobody
like a
cared.
celebration all over the state. When Muncy hits 3, people are like,
what happened? The Marlins traded Luis Ariz to the Padres over the weekend for 4 prospects. He then had 4 hits in his first game with the Padres. First 4 at bats. He had 4 hits for the Padres.
He might have leaded. Check him. He might be hanging out with Tatis.
We will go through tonight's games when we come back. Full slate of baseball.